Are we ready? I guess so. The December 5th, 2016 City of Vandalia Council meeting will now come to order. We will have a moment of reflection followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, you have had the opportunity to review the council study session minutes of November the 21st and also the council meeting minutes of November the 21st. Are there any corrections or additions? Seeing none, they'll stand to be approved. We have no communications, petitions, or awards this evening, nor do we have any public hearings, and that brings us to comments from interested citizens. And if there's someone in the audience who would like to make a comment to council, would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for the records, and your statement. Seeing none, we'll continue on with the city manager's report. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've just got two items this evening. First, remind everybody that city offices are going to be closed on Friday, December 23rd, and again on Monday, December 26th in observance of the Christmas holiday. We're also going to be closed on Monday, January 2nd due to the New Year's holiday. So your first council meeting of next year is actually going to be on a Tuesday, January 3rd. The rec center is going to be open on December 24th from 7 until noon, but that will be limited to the fitness area, the track, and the gym. And also on December 31st from 7, which is New Year's Eve, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. The rec center will be closed on Christmas Day and also New Year's Day. And our annual report / calendar is ready for distribution. The Vandalia Butler High School Honor Society is going to again be distributing those. Every residence and business will get one on Saturday, December 17th. And in exchange for their work, the group will be presented with a contribution from the city towards their scholarship fund.
Thank you very much. There are no action items this evening, nor is there any old business. And that brings us to the resolutions for this evening, beginning with Resolution 16-R-97. Mr. McDonald.
16R97, a resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the purchase of various hardware and software components for the 2016 server upgrade project at a total price of $168,598.45.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have $200,000 budgeted for the server upgrade project, which includes the city's main file and application servers that are on a 5-year replacement schedule. We received quotes through the Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program for those items that are available through that program. For items not available through the state of Ohio, competitive quotes were received. The total cost for all components of this project is $168,598.45, which is well below the budgeted amount.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 16-R-97.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ayler, second by Councilman Herbst, so we do approve Resolution 16-R-97. Are there any questions or comments?
I just want to mention that it does seem like a large amount, and we received last workshop a very extensive and detailed explanation from Mr. Davey, and he went to a lot of work for this contract, so we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Farst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Resolution 16-R-98. Mr. McDonald.
A resolution amending Section 900.2A of the Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual of the City of Vandalia.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city's Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual currently restricts health care benefits to full-time employees and permanent part-time employees that were hired on or before October 1st of 2002. However, the requirements of the Affordable Care Act necessitate amending this language to allow other employees, as defined by the Affordable Care Act, to be eligible for enrollment in the city's health care program based on their hours worked.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I move that we approve Resolution 16R98 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilwoman Faris, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-98 as presented. Questions or comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Resolution 16-R-99. Mr. McDonald?
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an automatic mutual aid agreement system with the city of Dayton.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. The City of Dayton is requesting consideration of an automatic mutual aid response agreement to provide fire and limited EMS mutual aid response to the area being developed at National Road just west of Concord Drive. Vandalia's Fire Station Number 1, which we share with Butler Township, would be the closest and most appropriate fire station. Therefore, we would be sharing in the workload with Butler Township. In return, the City of Dayton will provide access to Dayton's active fire hydrants on West National Road, thereby providing a permanent water supply for development in the city that is west of the airport access road.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve Resolution 16R99.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Blakesley, second by Councilman Ehlers, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-99. Comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Ordinances in their first reading for this evening. The first one is 16-37. Mr. McDonald?
Ordinance 1637, an ordinance repealing Chapter 810 of the Vandalia Codified Ordinances.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Chapter 810 does regulate amusement devices. A license is required from the city manager to operate an amusement device with the following fee schedule. So it's $50 per year for any business that receives less than 50% of its gross revenue from amusement devices, and it's $6,000 per year for any business that receives more than 50% of its gross revenue from the operations of amusement devices. We currently have 14 businesses in the city that have amusement devices, only 4 of which have 5 or more devices. Again, none of the 14 generate more than 50% of their gross revenue from these devices. The cost and burden of administrating this licensing and fee requirement on amusement devices far outweighs any benefit that the city receives. It's therefore staff's recommendation that this chapter be repealed.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve Ordinance 16-37 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Herbst, second by Councilman Gerhart, that we do approve Ordinance 16-37 in its first reading. Comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Ordinance 16-38. Mr. McDonald?
An ordinance amending Chapter 882 Hotel Motel Tax of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Vandalia.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So this ordinance would amend our hotel motel tax ordinance as follows. We would add additional definitions, specify who is exempt from paying this tax, spell out the record-keeping requirements, specify who is liable for collecting and paying the tax, detail how unpaid taxes are collected, impose penalty and interest for delinquent accounts, and permit the finance director to adopt rules and regulations for the administration and enforcement of this chapter.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I move that we approve Ordinance 1638 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilman Ehlers, that we do approve Ordinance 16-38 as presented. Comments from anyone? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Stetzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Ordinance 16-39, Mr. McDonald.
An ordinance to revise appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Vandalia, Montgomery County, Ohio, during the calendar year ending December 31, 2016, and amending Ordinance 1521 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, this ordinance would amend 2016 appropriations as follows. And we would add an additional $300,500 to the general fund, an additional $3,500 to the indigent drivers fund, an additional $20,500, an additional $20,500 in the capital improvement fund, an additional $33,000 to the golf fund, and an additional $400,000 in the hospital care trust fund.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 16-39 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Forrest, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do approve Ordinance 16-39 in its first reading. Any comments from anyone? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Stetzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Ordinances in their second reading. The first one this evening is Ordinance 16-35. Mr. McDonald?
An ordinance converting $2,114 in the fire equipment fund that was previously advanced from the general fund as part of a temporary advance for the new fire engine from advanced funds to transferred funds.
Thank you. Since this is an ordinance in its second reading, I will open up a public hearing so that if there's anyone in the audience who would like to make comment about this ordinance, would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records, and then your comment. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Your Honor, I move that we approve Ordinance 1635 in its second reading.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilman Gerhart, that we do approve Ordinance 16-35 in its second reading. Any comments from council? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Stetzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Ordinance 16-36. Mr. McDonald?
An ordinance amending Section 1042.11, a schedule of rates dealing with water rates, and Section 1044.06 D1, wastewater service charges dealing with wastewater of the codified ordinances of the City of Vandalia.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, during our recent completed budget review sessions, again, we reviewed with council that while the water fund balance does meet its target fund balance at the end of 2021, the water fund balance is declining, and we will not be able to support a continued level of capital improvements past that date. In contrast, the sewer fund balance is well above its target fund balance and is projected to continue to increase over that 5-year period. Again, staff recommended that council consider a water rate increase and an equivalent decrease in the sewer rates. So this ordinance would, on average, increase water rates about 11% in 2017, and sewer rates, that being the wastewater treatment portion only of our sewer rate, on average would be reduced about 9.5% to 10% in 2017. The effect for some resident that receives a monthly bill is about an additional $1 per month. And for our typical household that uses about 7,500 gallons a month, the increase would be $1.60 per month.
Thank you. Since this is an ordinance in its second reading, I will open up a public hearing. So if there's anyone in the audience who would like to make comment, would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records, and your comment. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I'll move that we approve ordinance 16-36 in its second reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Herbst, second by Councilwoman Farr, that we do approve ordinance 16-36 in its second reading. Comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. We have no emergency ordinances this evening, and that brings us to the reports from our boards and commissions with a conditional use from Vandalia Blacktop, 6480 Webster Street. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Vandalia Asphalt is requesting a conditional use approval to establish an asphalt paving contractor business in an industrial district at 6480 Webster Street. This 6.11 acre parcel is proposed to accommodate a 5,000 square foot office/maintenance building, as well as paved off-street parking and loading zones. Vandalia Asphalt does not intend to relocate to this parcel for several years. However, it wanted to acquire the necessary approvals prior to acquiring the property. Conditional use approvals do require building permits to be issued for all buildings and structures within 6 months of approval. However, an extension may be granted by council as part of its initial conditional use approval. The Planning Commission reviewed this request on November 8th and recommended approval subject to the following conditions. One, that the conditional use shall expire if permits have not been issued for all buildings and structures within 3 years of the date of approval, or if the use is ceased or discontinued for more than 6 months. Prior to construction, Vandalia Blacktop must show proof of ownership and formally plat this property. All signage shall conform to the requirements of the city's code, and development shall be in substantial agreement with the provision of the plans that are dated October 27th, as well as all other applicable requirements of our zoning code.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, move that we approve the conditional use of Vandalia Blacktop, including the recommendations of the Planning Commission, issued on December 5th, 2016.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do approve the conditional use for Vandalia Blacktop at 6480 Webster Street. Any comments?
I've got one, and I think it's another way of seeing how our community is expanding, and congratulations to Mr. Brossman keeping the company in this area, and I know it's homegrown business as well as expanding, so again, congratulations for that as well.
Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers, Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. You also have the Board of Zoning Appeal minutes of September the 14th, 2016, the Park and Recreation Advisory draft minutes of November the 16th, 2016, Planning Commission minutes of November the 8th, 2016. Are there any questions on those? Seeing none, I'll go with council comments, beginning with Mr. McDonald. Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
And I'm going to take my privilege here, and I'm going to be first this evening. And the reason for that is because last night was the tree lighting out at the rec center, and most of you know that it was not the best of weather, certainly to be standing outside, but our Vandalia staff, and I think that there were others included besides just the recreation people, were Johnny on the spot, and they brought it inside, and it was a great success. And the people that had donated the tree were so impressed because they had, when we did the lighting of the tree, there it was on the wall. So it was something else, but it just shows that within a short period of time, we are Johnny on the spot and really do accommodate the kind of celebrations that we look forward to in Vandalia. So thank you, Steve, and thank everybody that was involved with that. So with that, I will go on then, and let's see, who are we going to start with? Oh, how about Councilman Gerhard?
No comment tonight.
Okay. Vice Mayor Lewis? Oh, no, you're last. Councilwoman Faris?
None this evening, thank you.
Okay. Councilman Herbst?
The only thing I'd like to comment on is the decoration of the trees through town. I think it looks so nice driving through here at night. I mean, it really does look beautiful.
Thank you. I think it does too. Councilman Ayers?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Blakesley?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Now Vice Mayor Lewis.
I'll defer to your comments on the Christmas tree lighting. It was, they pulled it off in spite of the rain, and it was still a great community event.
Thank you. It is recommended now that council adjourn to executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purpose. So I need to have a motion.
So moved?
Second?
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilwoman Farce, that we do adjourn. So will you please call the roll? Do you have
Well, first, we're gonna reconvene back to our study session also. I don't know if you were gonna bring that up.
I was going to bring it up next. That's okay.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Ehlers,
Yeah.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt. Yes. Councilmember Farce,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. And as I was reminded then also, before we actually adjourn into that meeting, we will finish our workshop that we had prior to this meeting and did not complete. So with that, let's go into our other meeting.
I think we did that a little bass backward, huh?